So first of all, it is related to money supply and inflation. So we need to understand what is money. So money is anything which performs the following four functions, and what those four functions are. It is medium of exchange where we can do buy, and further we can sell the goods for a money related value. Okay, so individual goods and services and the other physical assets are priced in terms of money. You can do buy them, and further you can do sell them for the exchange of money. Then it is a measure of value, that money is used to measure and record the value of goods and services, that you can basically say that this particular good is worth rupees 50,000 or 20,000 based upon the value of the money that is it is measured into. And for the third, it is related to a store of value over time. You can store the value of the future payments into it. So money can be held over a period of time and further used to finance the future payments. And fourth one, it is related to standard for the deferred payments. So what is deferred payment actually? Let us take the case that the amount is to be paid by you to someone else, and you are not paying the amount at a one shot. In the one shot, you're not paying the amount, and you'll be paying the amount in installments thereafter. That is basically related to what? That is related to the deferred payments. Okay. So now after some time, you'll be paying the amount in installment too, and that is to be paid in the terms of money only. Okay. So money is used as an agreed measure of a future receipts and payments in the contracts. So this is related to the money, that is, if anything that performs these particular four functions, that is the money itself. It is medium of exchange, it is measure of value, it can basically store the value over time, and it can be used for the as a standard for the deferred payments. Okay, now let us have a look at the money supply. So money supply refers to the stock of money in circulation. It refers to what? It refers to the stock of money in circulation, that whatsoever the amount of money is available, whether it is related to the banknotes, that is cash in hand, or the cash with the banks available over there, or it may be in the form of the deposits with the bank, or it may be in the form of the deposit with the post office itself. So we will be covering those all. So measures of the money supply, the four most common money supply measures are basically related to M1, M2, M3 and M4. M1 is said to be the narrow money, and M3 is said to be the broad money. And when we talk about the narrow money, what are the different components of it? First of all, it is related to currency with the public, and secondly, it is related to the demand deposits with the banking system. Now what is demand deposit? Demand deposit means the current account balances, the saving bank account balances, or the overdue FDRs, or related to the term deposits which are overdue. Those are also what? Those are also the demand deposits. Those deposits which can be basically withdrawn on demand itself, that is related to demand deposits. And other than the other deposits which are with the Reserve Bank of India, that is also covered under the narrow money M1. That is also the component of the narrow money, that is M1. M2 basically is consisting of all the components of M1, that is M1 itself, and plus the saving deposits of the post office saving banks. So in the first scenario, in the case of the narrow money, we have not considered the saving deposits of the post offices, and other than that we considered related to the currency with the public, and further related to the other balances with the RBI, and demand deposits with the banks. This is related to the three components under the M1, and further in M2 it is M1 plus saving fund deposits with the post offices, banks, saving banks, and further broad money, that is M3 is equal to M1 plus the time deposits with the banking system. That is basically the M3, and M4 is M3 plus all deposits with the post office saving banks, excluding the NSCs, that is the National Saving Certificates. That is basically related to what? That is related to measures of the money supply. That is related to the measures of the money supply. So kindly please note it down. Because the questions can be asked based upon it. So you must be aware of the different components of the M1, M2, M3 and M4. So I already told you that in the case of M1, we are having the currency with the public, that is related to the whatsoever the amount of cash is available with the public. And how we can calculate it? The currency with the public can be calculated after deducting the cash with the bank balances from the total currency in circulation. Let us take the case that the total currency in circulation is amounting 100 crore rupees. It is amounting 100 crore rupees, and when we will be subtracting the cash with the banks, that let us take the case that 60 crore is available with the banks, that is the cash available with the banks, and the rest of the amount will be indicating what? Rest of the amount will be indicating the currency with the public. Okay. Second component, it is a demand deposit. What do you mean by the demand deposits? So whatsoever the deposits which are basically withdrawable on demand, whether it is a case of the current account deposit, saving fund account deposit, or these can be related to the overdue FDRs, RDs, that is also demand deposit. And then there is the other deposits with the Reserve Bank of India. So other deposit of the Reserve Bank of India is basically related to monetary compilation, because in the case the banks are basically need to maintain the deposits with the Reserve Bank of India too. Banks need to maintain the deposits with the Reserve Bank of India, and also it could be the case that the balances are under the DEF account. So in under the DEF account, that is Deposit Education and Awareness Fund, also the amount is to be deposited. That is also basically the component of the deposits with the Reserve Bank of India. Secondly, it is related to M2, that is M1 plus saving deposit of the saving bank account, and that is M3, that is related to the broad money, that is M1 plus time deposits. Now what do you mean by the time deposits? Now, what do you mean by the time deposits? So that represents the time deposits, which is basically related to what? It is related to the amount which can be withdrawn after some particular period of time, and it is not available on demand. That is the time deposit component. That is a time deposit component. Is that clear? Okay, so that is related to the measures of money supply. And further, the next component, it is related to currency with the public, that we have already covered. We will not be covering it again. So next, it is related to inflation. Next, it is inflation. So inflation is what? It is rise in the general level of prices. So if the prices of the general prices of the goods and services are basically now increased, and that is basically related to what? That is related to the inflation. So if the general prices of the goods and services in the economy are increased over a period of time, that is basically due to the inflation itself. And inflation basically does what? It basically reduce our purchasing power. Okay, let us take the case that previously I was having the 100 rupees, or I can give you a better example. Let us take the case that this particular white marker is worth rupees 10 in 2000. In the year 2011, it was available at rupee 10 over there, and my income was 100 rupees. Okay, and further, I would be able to purchase 10 pens in case of the, I would be able to purchase 10 pens in my income in year 2011. Now let us consider that in year 2015, the new price of the white marker pen, it is 15 rupees. It is 15 rupees. Again, I am able to purchase how many units under rupees 100? It will be roughly 6.5 units that I can do purchase in rupees 100. Is that clear? Now my purchasing power is reduced because the general value, the general prices of the goods and services are increased, due to which my purchasing power is now reduced. Okay, so when the prices level increases, each unit of the currency buys a few goods and services. Previously I was able to buy 10 units, but now I can buy only 6 units. Okay, that is related to what? That is related to my purchasing power is now reduced. And secondly, inflation is also erosion in the purchasing power of money, that the purchasing power of the money is now reduced. We can say a loss of real value in the internal medium of exchange, or we can say previously we were able to get more value out of it, but now we are getting lesser value out of it. That is basically due to what? That is basically due to the inflation itself. So inflation does have the positive as well as the negative effects on the economy itself. So what is the negative impact? Negative effect is related to negative effects of the inflation includes loss in stability of the real value of the money. So because there is erosion in the real value, so that is a negative effect. And what is the positive effect? That it include a mitigation of economic recessions. So if the economy is under the recession, that will be learning in the business cycles, the unit itself. In that particular case, the inflation helps us. The inflation helps us to come out of the recession itself. And also it is kind of the debt relief. How it is a debt relief? Let us take the case that you have borrowed money from the bank amounting rupees 20 lakh rupees in year 2010. And further, at that particular time, you must be thinking that you have borrowed 20 lakh rupees and it's a quite big amount. Okay, but now after 10-year period, you must be thinking that it is not that much big amount. And you can think about it in a way that previously in 2010, the installment amount, let us take the case that the installment amount was 20,000 rupees, and you felt it difficult, that it is quite difficult so as to pay that particular amount. But now you can say, because the value of the money is reduced, you can say 20,000 is not that much big amount, and further you can say that I can pay that particular installment. That is due to what? That is due to the debt relief by reducing the real level of debt. Okay, so previously the debt was actually 20,000 rupees, but due to the inflation now your money is not worth the same. Your money is not worth the same, and the value of the money reduces by the inflation itself. Is that clear? So that is related to the inflation. Now let us consider the fact that the causes of inflation. So causes of inflation. So the most important factors of these are two factors. That first of all, it is the demand pull inflation, and then it is a cost push inflation. First of all, it is a demand pull inflation. What does it mean? When the demand exceeds the supply, when the demand is greater than that of the supply, in that case the general prices of the goods rises. So it is a general prices of the rises in the goods that is caused by the increasing aggregate demand of the goods and services. So if there is increase in the demand of the goods and services, in that particular case what will happen? Your prices will increase. The general prices will increases quantity of money in the hands of the public, basically increases the aggregate demand. So if there is more money supply in the market itself, if the general income is increased, in that case the people will be having more purchasing power, they will be purchasing more. That in that case the demand will exceed the supply, and further the prices will increase. So we can simply say, if the demand exceeds the supply, there will be shortage, and further there will be increase in the prices. Okay, and then it is a cost push inflation. Now I told you in previous lecture itself that the suppliers will be supplying more. When it is more profitable. So they will be supplying when it is more profitable. So let us take the case that the previous selling price was rupees 100, and further the overall cost of production was rupees 40. But now the input costs increased. The raw material cost or the labor cost or such any factor, that basically the input cost increased, and now the cost of production is rupees 60. Now the margin is rupees 40. Now the suppliers will be supplying less. Previously, if we say they were supplying 1000 units, let us take the case that now they are supplying only the 600 units. In that particular case, after some particular time or at some particular instance, the demand will exceed the supply again. And that is related to what? That is related to the cost push inflation. So we can say it is a type of inflation caused by substantial increase in the cost of production of the goods and services, where there are no suitable alternative is available. Okay, so when output declines because of the cost pressure on the producers, there will be a shortage in the output, and definitely that will lead to the price rise. Is that clear? So that is related to the cost push inflation. These are the two factors related to the inflation, and these are the most two important factors. Okay.